So, what are the people of El Paso like?
Oh, they're lovely. They're lovely. I honestly, growing up in Juarez, I've always loved El Paso. I've always liked El Paso. And of course, I mean, we are people. And something that I think it's very distinctive to us is that we are a really binational, bicultural community.
Hmm.
So you're going to have a lot of artists doing Chicano art, or you're going to see a lot of, for example, for us, Dia de los Muertos is coming up, so Death Day, right? And you're going to have exhibits, and you're going to have a lot of events here in El Paso, although it's a Mexican tradition, since we're very close to Mexico, like it's right here.
Yeah.
Of course, we share a lot of that bond culturally and also in terms of language. It's a very bilingual community.
Okay. Is there a difference in like people that live in Juarez and El Paso? Like, can you, are
Yeah.
they distinctive among each other or no?
Um, no, not really. I wouldn't say there's kind of like distinction. However, I'm going to tell you, when I moved from Juarez to El Paso, it was a cultural shift. So there's a difference. I mean, I felt the shift, especially because I was a teenager and I was like, I don't want to move to El Paso. Juarez is my home. I've always been here. So also, I think for me, the biggest thing, I would say it was the language. Although I spoke English back in the day, I wasn't as fluid as I am today. So from having going to school and everything be taught in Spanish, now I had to be in school and everything was going to be taught in English. So
Yeah.
that's a shift, and that was kind of like a cultural barrier.
Okay.
Also the food. The food is very different here in El Paso than Juarez.
Okay. Elaborate.
Yes. So, for example, Mexican food. We have good restaurants here in El Paso with Mexican food, but it's not going to be like the Mexican food you have in Mexico. The
Wait,
type of
say that again.
the Mexican food we have here in El Paso, it's not the same as the one you're going to try in Mexico.
Okay.
It's very different. For example, taco stands are not the same here in El Paso than in Juarez. We got to tell you that.
Okay.
At that. So yeah.
Interesting. What do you think? What do you think residents of El Paso value most?
Hmm. I think the fact that we are a binational community, the mix of cultures here in El Paso, it's one of them. I see that a lot. Um, yes, I think just the fact that there's a lot of people from Mexico here in the States, and and there's also a lot of American citizens in Juarez as well, or people that were born here, raised here, and then they go to Juarez or school or something because of their families. So I think the connection between just the nationalism that we're binational and the cultural, which we share a lot, I think that's what we value the most. At
Okay.
least I personally do. I think um, I see sometimes in social media as well that yeah, like people in El Paso love El Paso. They love the culture here. I mean, it's very different. It's very different because we're literally like a mix of two countries in
Yeah, it seems very unique.
one city. Yes,
Can
yes.
you think of any other cities in America that have a similar situation as what you experience there?
Hmm. I mean, I know, for example, big cities, right? Like Austin, Houston, New York. I mean, they have such rich cultures just because they are big cities and there's people from everywhere, right?
Yeah.
But here in El Paso, you're gonna see a lot of like that Mexican influence. It's really prominent, or that Hispanic influence. It's very
Yeah.
prominent. And although in other cities you might have some of it, there's also a lot more of other cultures. So here in El
Yeah.
Paso, I think that's what's very distinctive, that it's a very heavy Mexican, Hispanic influence.
Yeah. Interesting. What okay, so what do people like do for fun there? Like what are they interested in?
Okay, so for example, this past weekend we had an event downtown, and it's called Shock the Block. So there's just a bunch of local artists during on the streets of downtown El Paso with chalk, and it's an event where they have music, they have bands, they have sometimes they have mariachi. We have the farmers market down there. So we also have music festivals here in El Paso as well. We have Neon Desert
Okay.
Festival. I think this year it didn't happen just because of COVID, but in the past,
Okay.
and of course we have bands and music, a good music repertoire. A lot of people love to go hiking on the mountains since we have it like right here
Okay.
in the state park. I love to cruise just down the streets of downtown. I mean, I love it. I love it. So yeah.
What
Those are
about
some-
go
yeah.
ahead.
No, those are some of the few things that I can think off the top of my mind.
Okay, I saw some images on Google of people floating on the Rio Grande. Is that a thing?
I mean, not really. I mean, I
Okay.
probably on the side of Juarez, yes. There's a lot of people who just go into the river and everything. But yeah, from here, from El Paso, like from the American side, I haven't seen that a lot. I see it more coming off from the Mexican side of the border. So yeah,
Okay.
children kind of like playing in the water. If the river is not like on top, like there's not a lot of water, you're gonna see like kids just like playing in the water. Yeah.
Wow.